the recording. So in this 31st shloka, he is actually expressing his compassion, saying that what is the use of, fighting this war when I'm going to, kill my own kingsmen who are my own people. And I'm not going to, even if I win the battle, I'm not going to get happiness. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, without knowing that one's self-interest is in Vishnu or Krishna, conditioned souls are attached by bodily relationships, hoping to be happy in such situations. In such a blind conception of life, they forget even the cause of material happiness. What is the cause of material happiness? Krishna. Arjuna appears to have even forgotten the moral codes of a Kshatriya. So, see, a Kshatriya is supposed to fight. This is the moral code. If somebody has, challenged a Kshatriya, then he's supposed to fight. He does not want to fight also. It is said that two kinds of men, namely the Kshatriya who dies directly in front of the battlefield under Krishna's personal order, and the person in renounced order of life who is absolutely devoted to the scriptural culture, are eligible to enter into the sun globe, which is so powerful and dazzling. So here actually, where what is Prabhupada trying to say, that who are supposed to actually go into the spiritual world, who are actually those who, so actually when he's saying over here this powerful and dazzling, he's actually saying about the Brahma Jyoti, okay, over here. So Arjuna is reluctant even to kill his enemies, let alone his relatives. So this is, he's actually exhibiting compassion. He thinks that by killing his kingsmen, there would be no happiness in his life, and therefore he is not willing to fight. Just as a person who does not feel hunger is not inclined to cook, he has now decided to go into the forest and live a secluded life in frustration. But as a Kshatriya, he requires a kingdom for his subsistence, because the Kshatriyas cannot engage themselves in any other occupation. So, being a Kshatriya requires a kingdom to rule over. But now he wants to go to the forest. But Arjuna does not have any kingdom. So Arjuna's sole opportunity for gaining a kingdom lies in fighting with his cousins and brothers and reclaiming the kingdom inherited from his father, which he does not like to do. Therefore, he considers himself too fit to go to the forest to live a secluded life of frustration. Means he is agreeing to, be frustrated in life rather than killing his own relatives or his own enemies. Right? So this is actually a Kshatriya. This is actually Kshatriya is not showing his qualities as a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is supposed to fight. A Kshatriya, if there is some adharma done, then he's supposed to fight. But here he is not agreeing to fight. And this is where actually the, problem is, that where somebody is saying that, somebody is actually, he's challenging you, then you're supposed to fight. So in the past, we have seen, he's having a lot of compassion, and that compassion is due to soft-heartedness, for pure devotee. But there is a false compassion also due to material fear, where there is, namely, he's thinking loss of life. So what happens is that when there is impatience, due to this impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield. Now, if you see, even in our own lives, when we see impatient people, then they are not able to sit in one place. Like, for example, a small child, very impatient, he wants to fiddle around, he wants to go here and there. So, he's not able to sit in one place. So, even Arjuna did not want to stay on the battlefield, he wanted to just get out of the battlefield. Then Arjuna also had weakness of mind. Why weakness of mind? Because he's forgetting himself. So, when you have excessive attachment to material things, then a person is put into bewildered condition. For example, Okay, somebody is attached to some material thing. But what happens that because he wants to attain that material thing or material object or something, what happens is his mind starts reeling. His mind starts hovering over that material thing. And then he forgets. He might land up doing something wrong also. And he might end up in a jail also. So, excessive. So, about his attachment, Krishna will speak much in detail in the second chapter. So, we'll cover that attachment part in the second chapter. So, then he had a lot of fear also. So, fearfulness, like when we say fear, so fear is actually when you have fear, then is a lot of equilibrium. When you are too much fearful, then you lose balance. And the practical application, this would be that whenever there is something, temporary change coming into our lives because of the surroundings, we should not be disturbed by these temporary material changes, because that is the nature of the material world. Change is the nature of the material world. Today if I am happy, tomorrow I will definitely be sad, then day after tomorrow definitely I'll be happy. So that's where actually he's seeing only causes of misfortune. So he's only seeing pain and frustration, and he's not seeing happiness over there. And not to be happy even by victory, then that is giving him only lamentation. उसको सिर्फ शोक दे रहा है. So these causes of frustration in life are like why? Because it is like for a misdirected interest is there. Why? Because when a person has only interest in his own self, then he'll be frustrated. But if his interest is only in Vishnu, so see, there is one misdirected interest. So misdirected interest means what? To be interested in only one's own welfare, अपने बारे में ही सोचना. And then there is ignorance of the even real self interest. What is real self interest? Prabhupada writes in the first line of this particular purport, he says that real self interest is Vishnu's satisfaction. So ignorance of this, it is into a conditional nature, is to forget your real self interest, and this is the cause of material pain. So somebody might ask that, but is Arjuna a conditioned soul? Arjuna is just showing ignorance of his real self interest because this is Krishna's will. Krishna's will is there that he should be in ignorance. So now from the 31st shloka till the 35th shloka, Arjuna will give his second argument. He will give one argument, that he will say that I don't want to fight because because there are so many relatives on the other side. I don't want to harm them, because even if I uh, basically he's into a blind conception of life where he cannot see the right way to achieve even the material happiness. He argues that fighting will not offer him any enjoyment even by victory. So, if somebody wants to know the theme of this particular purport, you can just say that blind conception of life is, exhibited by Arjuna, because without knowing one's self interest as Vishnu, the conditioned living souls are attracted by all bodily relationships, hoping to be happy, in such conditions. Bodily relationship, but somebody is finding happiness in some other person or relatives, but or friends, but they are not getting that happiness from that particular person. And for this, one even forgets the cause of material happiness. So now Arjuna is exhibiting this blind conception of life, and that is why he refuses to fight. He appears to have even forgotten the moral codes of Kshatriya. So what are the moral codes of a Kshatriya? That he must fight for his sustenance. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says that a Kshatriya who dies directly on the battlefield is actually completely under Krishna's personal order. He's fighting by the will of the Lord. And there is another person who is in the renounced order of life, who is absolutely devoted to the spiritual culture. So these two people, they are there. These are the people who are, enter the sun globe. Now, what is actually Arjuna proposing in this particular shloka? He is saying that he is reluctant to even kill his own enemies. What to speak of his relatives also? Because he thinks that, okay, by killing them, I won't have any happiness. So, Prabhupada is giving an analogy over here that a person who is not feeling hungry, he will not be inclined to even eat. So, he's not inclined to fight only. So, that is why he does not want to fight. So, he's thinking that, okay, it's better to go to the forest. Let me live a secluded life. So, basically, he wants to escape because his sole opportunity in gaining a kingdom is lying, in fighting with his cousins and brothers, which he does not want to do. So basically, he's trying to escape from that duty of a Kshatriya, where Krishna in the subsequent chapters will explain that why should you do your prescribed duties. So this is about the 31st shloka that we saw. Let's move on to the 32nd shloka. So 32nd to 35 shloka, over here he is speaking that Kim no rajena govinda kim bhogera jivete nava yesham arthe kshan yesham, wait me, let me just check with the, yeah. Yesham arthe kankshita no rajyo bhoga sukhani cha. then tame avasthitha yuddhe प्रणाम त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्य पितरः पुत्रास् तथैव च पितामह मातुले स्वासुरे है पुत्र है शाल्य है संबंधी तथा एतान न हंतुम इच्छामि घ्नतो अपि मधुसूदना अपि त्रैलोक्य राज्यस्य हेतो किम नु मही कृते निहत्य धातराष्ट्रानः का प्रीति sajya janardhana. So now let's see the translation. So sometimes Prabhupada, where there is not much explanation, he clubs 2-3 shlokas together. O Govinda, what will avail to us are a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield. O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not ceasing. O maintainer of living entities. So in the Sanskrit word, when we see O maintainer of the living entities, where is a maintainer? Janardhana. So if you see last over here, Janardhana, O maintainer of living entities. So I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange of the 3 worlds. Let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So, Arjuna has addressed, I want somebody to read this purport. Sushil Prabhu, please read this purport.
Hare Krishna. Purport. Arjuna has addressed Lord Krishna as Govinda because Krishna is the object of all pleasures for cows and the senses. By using this significant word, Arjuna indicates that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. But Govinda is not meant for satisfying our senses. If we try to satisfy the senses of Govinda, however, then automatically our own senses are satisfied. Materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses, and he wants God to be the order supplier for such satisfaction. The Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entities as much as they deserve, but not to to the extent that they may cover. But when one takes the opposite way, namely when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring to satisfy one's own senses, then by the grace of Govinda, all desires of the living entities are satisfied. Arjuna's deep affection for community and family member is exhibited here partly due to the natural composition for them. He is therefore not prepared to fight. Everyone wants to show his opulence to friends and relatives, but Arjuna fears that all his relatives and friends will be killed on the battlefield, and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. This is typical calculation of material life. The transcendental life, however, is different. Since a devotee wants to satisfy the desires of the Lord, he can, Lord willing, accept all kinds of opulence for the service of the Lord. And if the Lord is not willing, he should not accept a farthing. Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that Krishna has already killed them before their coming to the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna. This fact is disclosed in following chapters. As a natural devotee of the Lord, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against his miscreant cousins and brothers, but it was the Lord's plan that they should all be killed. The devotees of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer, but the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. The Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he excuses no one who has done harm to his devotees. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although Arjuna wanted to excuse them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So now from this this particular shloka, that is the 32 to the 35, where Arjuna is exhibiting a typical calculation of material life. He feels that, fighting is not going to give him any enjoyment, even if he is victorious. Why? Because he wants to show off his opulence and share with the society after victory. And also, if there is any need to kill his relatives, then let Krishna kill them. So in this, if you see, Arjuna is, misusing the name Govinda. So the name Govinda means actually Krishna is the object of all pleasure for the cows and senses. But Arjuna indicates, by addressing Krishna as Govinda, so he's indicating that Krishna should understand what will satisfy Arjuna's senses. Actually, we are supposed to satisfy Krishna's senses, but here the living entity, who's Arjuna, he is actually thinking that Krishna should understand what will satisfy my senses, the living entity's senses. So this is a very material understanding of God. So materially, everyone wants to satisfy his senses and wants God to be his order, supplier for such satisfaction. So this is actually a wrong conception about, the Lord as Govinda. But then somebody might have, then Mataji, please tell what is the right conception then. So the right conception is that Lord will satisfy the senses of the living entity as much as, the living entity deserves, but not to the extent they may covet. Because Govinda is not meant for the satisfaction of our senses. So the right conception would be that when one tries to satisfy the senses of Govinda without desiring, to satisfy his own senses, then by the grace of the Lord, Govinda, all the desires of the living entities are satisfied. So when selflessly you are trying to satisfy the senses of the Lord, then automatically your senses will be satisfied. So this is what Prabhupada is addressing why Govinda. So now Prabhupada is actually comparing over here the typical calculation of material life and transcendental life. So what is the typical calculation of material life? So Arjuna wanted to show off over here, right? So we also have a show of tendency. I want to show that, okay, I have so much of opulence and I have so much of people around me or so many relatives. So everybody wants to show off his opulence to his friends or relatives. But Arjuna is fearing that all of them will be killed on the battlefield. So he wants to be called a good man. So Arjuna did not want to kill his relatives, and even if there was any need to kill them, he was thinking that Krishna should kill them, and he should not be involved in killing them. So this is a typical material calculation. Then what is a spiritual calculation, or a or a material? When I say material life, and then a transcendental life. So then what is a transcendental life? The transcendental life is that the devotee wants to satisfy the Lord's desire. So he can accept, see, so he always says that, we say, no, Krishna willing, if Krishna supplies me, I'm ready. So he will accept all kinds of opulences for the service of the Lord. So what is the Lord's desire? He wants Arjuna to fight. Why is the Lord so determined to fight? Because he can excuse a person on his own account, but he cannot excuse he can sorry but he cannot excuse anyone who has done harm to his devotees. And by the Lord's plan, these all soldiers were already killed on the battlefield. He just wants that Arjuna should be an instrument in this particular killing. So if the Lord is not willing, then he should not accept even a farthing. So means what? Actually, one should give up all selfish likes and dislikes if if the Lord is not desired. So now Arjuna is told to execute the Lord's desire and not exhibit his own desires. Now, of course, Arjuna's own desire, to reflect, these all qualities will come up, but Arjuna's deep affection for this community, family, are exhibited due to his natural compassion for them. And as a natural devotee, Arjuna did not like to retaliate against the miscreant, So even these all five Pandavas, their nature was not to retaliate at all. How much ever atrocities or calamities they faced through Duryodhana or through Dhritarashtra, they never retaliated. So this is one of the transcendental quality of Arjuna, that they never retaliate. The Pandavas never retaliated. Now from the 36th shloka to the 38th shloka, Arjuna will give his third argument. Why he does not want to fight? So he will say that I will incur sinful reactions and all. Let's go ahead and see what Arjuna wants to say in the 36th shloka. Papamevaश्रेया श्रेयाद अस्माना हत्वैताना हत्वेताना तयानिना तस्मान्नारह वयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् स्वबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखी न श्याम माधवा. He's saying, sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own king's men? So I want somebody to read this purport. It's a very important purport.
Ma'am, can I read?
Yeah, Sejal.
Yeah. According to the Vedic injunctions, there are 6 kinds of aggressor. A poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. Such aggressors are at once to be killed, and no sin is incurred by killing such aggressors. Such killing of aggressors aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintlessness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for the Kshatriya. Although a responsive man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Ram, Ramarajya. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife, Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons, etc. Because of them, Arjuna thought that he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. Besides that, saintly persons are advised to forgive. Such injunctions for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on the grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So, why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava or the husband of goddess of fortune is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out to Krishna that as the husband of the goddess of fortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, ma'am, can you just raise little up?
Yeah, you're able to read now?
Yeah. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone to say nothing of his devotees. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. That was a very fluent reading. So over here, if you see that in the Arjuna is actually in this particular shloka, what he's saying is, just give me 1 minute, okay? There's some disturbance in the screen. Okay, no. So Arjuna is arguing over here that fighting will incur sinful reactions because because of this unique position, the aggressors are his seniors and they are his relatives also. So Prabhupada in this purport to this 36 text, he's talking about 6 types of aggressors, based on the grounds of politics and sociology. So politics means Artha Shastra, that killing them does not, incur any sin. So there are 6 types of aggressors. We know that a poison giver. So these all things, if you see now, they were given poison. Bhima was given poison. Then Lakshagra, this was set to fire. Then they were attacked by deadly weapons. Then their whole kingdom was taken away. Then their whole land was taken away. And one who kidnaps a wife also. So, they wanted actually to, take away Draupadi also. So these were the 6 steps. And all these 6 actually the Pandavas have, committed these, what do you say, aggression towards the the Kauravas have done to Pandavas. So all these, sins that are there and all these sins that they have done, they're actually are not forgivable. So, but still Arjuna is favoring forgiveness. Why? Based on the grounds of, his saintly behavior, that is Dharma Shastra. So because of, the unique position of these, aggressors as senior and relatives, he's actually forgiving them on account of his saintly qualities. And Arjuna is considering, why should I risk, the life and eternal salvation for temporary pleasures and uh, pleasures for the kingdom. So now when we say that he wants to forgive, so, forgiveness also has a correct understanding. Now, Arjuna's understanding about forgiveness is actually not a proper understanding of forgiveness. Forgiveness means what? That Prabhupada is writing in the pulpit. He's saying that saintliness is not justified for a Kshatriya. Like how he's comparing, that Ram Rajya. Lord Ram gave sufficient lessons to Ravana, who was an aggressor. Why? Because Ravana had kidnapped Rama's wife, Mother Sita. So now he's saying that to such people, we should not forgive them, but we should, we should answer back them again. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna over here as Madhava. Yeah, so he wants to indicate that Krishna is the husband of the goddess of fortune. And Krishna should not cause any action which brings about misfortune. So he's thinking that Krishna has told me to fight, but this is going to bring misfortune. So this saintly qualities of Arjuna that are there, through consideration of all these things. So he's considering. So that's why when he's addressing Krishna as Madhava, he's thinking that, you are goddess of fortune, but why do you want to bring about misfortune? So that's where he's addressing Krishna as Madhava. Let's see with the next lokas, 37 and 39. Just 11. यद्यप्येते न पश्यन्ति लोभे पहत चेतस कुलक्षय कृत दोष मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं कथं न ज्ञेयं स्माभिः कथं न ज्ञेयम् असमाभिः पापाद् अस्मान् निवर्तितुं कुलक्षय कृतं दोषं प्रपश्यादिभिः जनार्दना. O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sins? So, I want somebody to read this purport. Preeti Mataji, please read this purport. Preeti Mataji is there. Hare Krishna. Okay, a Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana in this connection. Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. So in these particular two shlokas, now he's actually, not ready to fight. He's saying, I don't want to fight. So over here, he's exhibiting saintliness qualities because he's considering the evil consequences and he's revealing his saintliness. So the first thing is that why he doesn't want to fight, he's saying he's obliged. So obliged means what? To not refuse when challenged to battle or gamble. So basically, it's, when obligation is there, it's binding when the effect is good and not otherwise. So therefore, Arjuna is considering that he's not obliged to fight. So this is what, they're saying in this particular shloka, 37 and 38 shloka, that I'm not, obliged to fight. Now from the 39th to the 43rd shloka, Arjuna is giving his fourth argument. he's saying that why should I not fight, So he's saying that that will cause family destruction. And he's actually giving a sequence, a 6-step sequence for how will the family traditions be, disrupted. कुलक्षय प्रणश्यति कुल धर्म सनातन धर्मे नष्टे कुले कृत्स्नम अधर्मो भी भवति utah. So there over here he's saying that with the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Somebody read this purport?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, sure.
In the system of Varnashram institutions, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvations. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain.
Yeah. We just go ahead with the other shlokas also. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna pradyushyanti kulakstriya strishu drishtashu varshneya jayati varna shankara. When religion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood or descendant of Vrishni comes unwanted progeny. Please read this purport. Sejal Mataji.
Yes, ma'am. Good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and the spiritual progress in life. The Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to be degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandita, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus that chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. On the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the woman become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at a risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So now in this 39 and 40 shloka, there is a, he's giving a series of reasons. He's saying that how will there be, family destruction? So what is the first step to family destruction in 39 shloka? He's saying that there will be death of elderly people. And when there is death of elderly people, it will destroy the whole dynasty. Then he's saying that family traditions will stop, which means what? If family traditions will stop, then irreligion will keep on increasing. So with the destruction of this dynasty, the entire family tradition is vanquished. Gayab ho jayega. And thus this rest of the family also becomes involved into irreligion because now they don't have guidance from the elders. So then, definitely they are going to do some irreligious activities. And in this 40th shloka, he's saying that, Srila Prabhupada is saying that, or even Krishna is, Arjuna is giving reason that women will become polluted. Now, when irreligion becomes very prominent, then the women in the family, become polluted. Polluted यानी दूषित हो जाते हैं. So Chanakya Pandit is saying that he does not mean that women are, not intelligent at all. He's saying that women need protection. And why women need special protection? Because firstly, he's saying that women by nature are less intelligent. Now, less intelligent means what? That women are by nature very gullible. Gullible means उनको कोई भी बहला सकता है, फुसला सकता है. That person can easily fool. And the women by nature, will get carried away by such unscrupulous men. Then he's saying that women are not trustworthy. So, we as women should not think that, oh, we are less intelligent, we are not trustworthy, But what happens is that if the woman does not get a proper protection, then these things will happen with her. But if she's getting the right protection from her man, from her husband, then she'll be the most trustworthy woman. If she's getting protection from the man, then she'll be the very intelligent lady. And if she's getting protection from the man, then she will not be prone to degradation. Degradation means what? Over here, Prabhupada wants to say that, or, Acharyas want to say that when women are not given proper protection, then what happens that men from outside her house, they are trying to enjoy her. They want to enjoy her and they want to engage her in some dharmic, irreligious activities. They want to exploit her. They want to enjoy her and throw her away. So then how will the women be protected? When you are engaging these women in religious practices, either under a father, husband, or the son, and that is how they will be protected. And if they are not protected, then it will lead to adultery or Varna Shankara. Varna Shankara means what? That a Shudra getting married to a Brahmana, or a Shudra getting married to a Vaishya or a Kshatriya. That is called Varna Shankara. So, and Varna Shankara means what actually? Varna Shankara is unwanted, progeny. So when women are degraded, then there is unwanted progeny. Those children who are really not wanted, and those children who cannot do any good to the society also. So Varna Shankara has, 3 effects. One is risk of war and pestilence, and the third is hellish life. So this whole family, if when we were Varna Shankara, because of Varna Shankara, for the whole family, the whole ancestors also fall down, because their pindadan stops. When you do not give pindadan to the ancestors, then the ancestors also, from whichever position they are, they will fall down, and it will destroy the whole family. So even all the community projects or whatever businesses are there and all everything, family welfare completely will stop when there will be Varna Shankara, because there will be no Pindadan only. They don't know only how to do Pindadan for our ancestors. They will say, oh, he was not my ancestor, he's my ancestor. And there will be many conflicts as such. So this is where this is the second reason he's giving, that there will be this. So the next step he will give that all the family members will be destroyed and they'll be having hellish life, culture will be destroyed. Let's see with the 41st shloka what Arjuna has to say. Shankaro naraka eva kulaghana kulasya cha patanti pitro hi esham lupta pindodaka kriya. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water, that is Pindadan, are entirely stopped. According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in the subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when the remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of miseries. It is stated in the Bhagavatam, Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitranam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rini Rajan Sarvatmanayah Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kritam. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligations, and has taken to the path of all seriousness, owns neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, let's see the next sloka. दोषेर एते कुल घ्नानाम वर्ण शंकर कारके उदा उस सॉरी उत्साद्यन्ते जाति धर्मा कुल धर्माश्च शाश्वता. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma, Varnashram Dharma are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of the Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently people forget the aim of aim of life Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into a chaos. So now, in these two shlokas, what is actually Prabhupada trying to say that there will be, hellish life for family, and there will be destroys of the family, culture will be destroyed, community projects will be destroyed, there will be no welfare, and all these acts will be, stopped. So, when this Pindadan, it is a sequence like, when the Pindadan, will stop. So it is based on this, rules and regulations of fruitive activity. And to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers, then the right process is to worship Vishnu and offer him the remnants, prasad, to the forefathers. So what is the principle behind offering, remnants to the forefathers? Basically to release them from many sinful reactions, and even if they have become ghosts, they'll be relieved from that ghostly, subtle body. So, and who is not obliged, to do all this pindadan and all? Only a devotee is not obliged to do all this, because a devotional service will relieve hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all the miseries. Where, it said, he was giving the shloka of Devarishi Bhutapta. So all community projects and welfare acts and all, he's saying that they are set forth by, this Varna Ashram Dharma, that is the Sanatan Dharma. All these 4 orders of the society. Basically, the purpose of this, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, 4 order society is that to help attain everybody's salvation. And if we are breaking, these 4 orders of the society, then there will be a lot of chaos in the society. And people will forget that the ultimate aim of life is Lord Vishnu. And they will not, move towards Vishnu, and everything will fall apart. So that's where, Arjuna does not want to fight. And these are, the systematic way of how people just, a step by step of degradation of the family is there done. So let's go to the 43rd shloka. Just give me 1 minute, okay? I just wanted to check with the time and how much time we have left. Yeah, we'll just complete with this 43rd shloka, and maybe we can just halt for question answers. Utsanna kula dharmana manusyanam janardana narke niyata vaso bhavanti bhavati tyanu anushramaha. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That is the way of receiving knowledge, real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being held by the right person who is already established in the right knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashram institution by which, before death, one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prayashchitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. So here, he's saying that he will be, he wants to, he wants to actually, not, fight. But Prabhupada in the purport is saying that Arjuna based his arguments on his personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. So in this 43 shloka, Srila Prabhupada is primarily stressing on disciplic succession, that what is the right way of receiving the real knowledge is through disciplic succession. And Prabhupada is explaining the principle of prayashchitta also, that a system in Varnashrama system by which before death one has to go or undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. And without doing so, one will surely be transferred to the hellish planets to undergo miserable lives. So these are some of the steps where, it is basically, this is a step-by-step process where, there will be, destruction of the family. The whole destruction of the family will be there. And this is explained in this step-by-step. Now, going forward from the 44th shloka to the 46th shloka, Arjuna will give his 5th argument, that why I don't want to fight. He will give his 5th argument as indecision. Indecision means he's not, able to decide that should I fight, should I not fight, and why he does not want to fight. He will say that, I've not decided, so I don't want to fight. And, he puts down his bow and arrow, and he's expressing his soft-heartedness. So the 44th to the 46th shloka will be like, he will say that he's being saintly in consciousness of moral principles, that how can I kill one's relative, because I'm selfish. He's ready to be killed unarmed, but he does not want to retaliate. And he He, these are all the symptoms of, soft-heartedness of a great devotee. And doing this, he will keep his bow and arrow down, and he says that I don't want to fight. So the conclusion of this particular first chapter is that he's such a kind and soft-hearted person, is fit to receive self-knowledge. So what is the qualification to receive self-knowledge is two things. One is kindness and soft-heartedness. So this is what Srila Prabhupada will be explaining, and we will see, from 44, 45, 46. 3 shlokas we'll see in the next chapter, next Wednesday. And we'll conclude with that chapter, and we will see how maybe we can move to the next chapter. In case there are any questions for the first chapter, we will solve those also. Yes, Sejal Mataji.
Ma'am, I had one question. In this entire shloka today we did, Arjuna was degrading woman. So is it what he has learned from his elders, or it was his own opinions regarding degrading, or all things that he said about the woman?
No,
Or
no.
are our Vedas that
Yeah, this
say
is
that?
actually written in the scriptures that when women are not given protection, then all these things will be there. See, if you see, even if you see in today's scenario also, for example, if a girl does not have her parents, then she does not have shelter. Maybe she was the only daughter of her parents, but sometimes she might go onto a wrong path, and she might land up into prostitution or land up into, wrong relationships, or get married to a wrong person, then have some extramarital affairs and all. So these things are happening when the women do not have the right protection given. But that doesn't mean that shastras are saying that women buddhu hai, yeah, women are very less intelligent. No, Prabhupada, if you see in Bhagavatam, in the teachings of Queen Kunti, he says that the most intelligent woman is that who has taken up to Krishna consciousness or bhakti of Krishna. So those women who have not taken up to the bhakti of Krishna or, to this, then those are not aware of their self, that how powerful are women as such, But you see, in the spiritual world also, who is controlling Krishna? Srimati Radharani is controlling Krishna.
Radharani.
So
Yes.
then how can women be, less intelligent? But those women who do not understand that I need a protection, I am subordinate to a man, and I need protection at every stage. When I am unmarried, I need protection from my father. When I'm married, I need protection from my husband. And when I become old, I need protection from my sons or daughters. Then those women become, and those who indulge in wrong activities, then those women are less intelligent. Those women who are already under the protection of their husbands, sons, and fathers, they are still intelligent. They are not less intelligent. But those who do not remain in the shelter, then those are less intelligent, because they think, okay, women's liberation and women's this and women's that and all. But me being a woman, I'm experiencing that when we are sheltered, we feel so protected. When we go out, it is so difficult, to see that, okay, the world is so ghastly. And at every step, there are men who want to exploit. Go and see in, IT companies, go and see in other companies and all. So many women are exploited over there in the name of promotions, in the name of, perks, and in the name of so many other things. So then, that is why then there will be degradation. And this is what he's saying about Varna Shankara. Varna Shankara means what? A Brahmana getting married to a Brahmana. But for example, a Kshatriya wife becomes a widower, okay, and then she does not have protection neither from her father-in-law, brother-in-law, or from her own husband, or even her own brother also dies in the battlefield, then she is left alone. Then there will be 10 people coming, to exploit her. There'll be 10 husbands who want to, well, then one husband is better than 10 husbands in the world. So they will come to exploit her in that way.
Ma'am,
So
here we can't train a woman to fight for herself rather than being dependent on their father or husbands. Why can't the mother train a son to respect a woman rather than degrading him? In that case, he is degrading even his mother,
yes,
a
so in
woman.
this connection, actually, this is why, the Krishna conscious movement is actually teaching how to be good mothers, good fathers, good sons. And in a way, when we are actually learning Bhagavad Gita, we are trying to actually learn that how to be a good mother, how to be a good father, how to be a good brother. And when we perfect one relationship with Krishna, see, because that one relation is like a root. So if you're watering the root, then all other branches are taken care of. So if I'm having perfect relation with Krishna, then I'll have perfect relation with my brother. I will have a perfect relationship with my in-laws. I'll have perfect relationship with my friends, with my children. So that is that overall aspect as a family or friends, that is taken care very nicely. But when the root is only not strong, the root relationship is only not strong, then what will happen? All the other relations will fall apart. Means what? When we satisfy Krishna, then all the other branches are also automatically satisfied. Why? Because Krishna is sitting in their hearts as Paramatma. So when you are satisfying Krishna, they are automatically satisfied. Why? Because when you become a devotee of Krishna, then all good qualities will come in you. All good qualities of Krishna will come in you, and then you will always see your own relatives in a compassionate mood. Okay, they're bereft of Krishna bhakti. They're innocent in their ignorance. We will always have compassion for our own family members or our own friends. And we will always see in a broader perspective. We will not see in a very narrow perspective to our relatives. So this is actually, we as grihastas, we when we become devotees, we think that I am a lotus flower in the pond, and other all relatives of mine, they are like mud, and I really don't care about them. But when we have patience with our relatives, and when we have very real loving relationships with our relatives, there is a great possibility that they will also become devotees by our good behavior. So that's where we as relatives, we should always invite our relatives and behave in a much more better way what we used to behave. Then they think, oh, she came into Krishna consciousness and she's become more better. She's behaving with us more friendly, more outgoing. She's behaving with us, and she's more giving. You call them for prasadam at home. You give them gifts on their birthdays. They'll be so pleased. And then this is what you are setting a platform for them to climb onto the Krishna conscious train. You're laying a very good foundation where they can stand and board the Krishna conscious train. So that foundation, if you're laying now, then it becomes very nice, because the whole foundation for our Krishna consciousness is loving exchange relationships between the devotees. And that's how you excel. See, every person is looking in for love in today's world. Okay, everybody wants love from another person, right? If I talk to sweet words to you, you will be sold off. That yes, every time I meet this Mataji, only she speaks sweet about me. She's only sweet to me. So then what we have to do? We have to just be very sweet with her. This, because ultimately they are also part and parcel of Krishna. We are also part and parcel of Krishna. We all are sons of Krishna, daughters of Krishna. Then where is the, this, where is the, problem? Where is the difficulty in that? Like, so that's how, if we become very goody with, our relatives, there might be some ego clashes also, but we should give up those ego clashes for a higher cause. Sometimes some, brothers, sisters might not gel well, or brother, because of some property issues might not gel well. But ultimately, if we know that everything belongs to Krishna, and if Krishna wants to give me, he will give me. If Krishna does not want to give me, he will not give me. But at least we stay good with our own relatives, they will become devotees, and it'll be very healthy thing. Like now my whole family is a devotee. My father's brothers are also devotees. On this side, my mother's also, all sisters and brothers are devotees. But we are the first people to come into Krishna consciousness. And that's how with my mother's good dealings with her own paternal side, they became devotees. With my father's and mother's both endeavor, my uncles became devotees. They all also have started chanting, and though of course in the initial stage they were a little indifferent to us when we came into Krishna consciousness, but over a period of time, with our good dealings with them and involving them in all the family functions and going and attending all their family functions also, they also eventually became devotees. Like, so it's a whole family as such, and we're trying to get more of our relatives, who are situated in remote areas of the villages also, to get into Krishna consciousness. That's our endeavor, that charity begins from home. So we are trying to see, humble attempt we're trying to do.
You're expanding the family, ma'am. Guruma, we are also blessed to have these sessions. We are
Yeah,
eagerly waiting. I already bought this book and I'm really enjoying each and every session with you. Every Wednesday, eagerly waiting.
yeah,
Last two Wednesday, we missed. The
yeah,
link was broken.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We are the blessed soul, Guruma.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think we'll have to end this session over here. Why? Because